Dr. David Banner, physician, scientist, searching for a way to tap into the hidden strengths that all humans have. Then an accidental overdose of gamma radiation alters his body chemistry.
Mayor Cantrelle got an overdose of gamma radiation from Lee Zurich today.
Metamorphosis occurs.
Or at least that's how she sees it. She turned into the Hulk. She got very upset. We'll hear the audio in a little while. Mayor had a press conference. Lee Zurich showed up, and the mayor was freaked out by it. Quote, freaked out.
Make me angry.
Wow.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I hear you, Mayor. Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks for joining us on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Yet another good one lined up for you. I tweeted today on the old Twitter device at Corey Johnson on Twitter. New Orleans, man, there's always topics. It's a talk radio show, you know, hosts Dream City. Always something going on, always topics. Never have to worry about that. The characters, the craziness. It is a wide open Wednesday. Yeah, you right. We got a lot coming your way. Eugene Green is going to join us, New Orleans City Councilman. Going to talk about this crazy situation. It's almost not believable until you realize it's New Orleans. Tampa Bay has their RTA. It's called HEART. Their chief customer experience officer is a lady named Teri Wright. She makes a couple of $100,000 plus a year as the full-time chief customer experience officer for the Tampa HEART, the Hillsborough Area Transit, or it's Hillsborough Area Regional Transit, HEART, the Tampa RTA. So she, I guess, lives in Tampa, full-time gig, full benefits, $200,000 a year. It is your job. It's almost like, it's not 24/7, but it's a 40-hour a week, 9 to 5 at least job. Tampa's chief customer experience officer, $200,000 plus a year and all the perks and benefits. It's a big system. Problem is, Teri Wright, who is Tampa's chief customer experience officer, making $200,000 a year, also is the RTA senior communications director here in New Orleans, $150,000 a year. So she has a full-time gig in Tampa. She has a full-time gig in New Orleans. Secretly working 2 full-time jobs in 2 different cities. Secretly working 2 full-time jobs in 2 different cities. It's mind-boggling, like big-time gigs. How do you pull that off? She is Tampa's chief customer experience officer with Tampa's RTA called HEART, making $200,000 a year, and she's also the RTA's senior communications director, making $150,000 a year. Where does she live? Halfway in between, a boat in the Gulf, helicopters to Tampa, helicopters to New Orleans. How's she work these 2 gigs out? Anyway, a Tampa reporter, newspaper reporter, exposed this secret of working 2 full-time jobs in 2 different cities. The Tampa HEART group, the Hillsborough Area Regional Transit, they fire Teri Wright. The RTA puts her on paid leave while they investigate. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-boggling. Tampa, you're fired for working 2 jobs and lying to us. New Orleans, we'll put you on paid leave. Go take a vacation, and in 2 weeks you'll get a paycheck. It's mind-blowing. Unbelievable. It really is. I'm just shocked by this one. Anyway, a Tampa newspaper reporter breaking this story. It's been hitting New Orleans. Unbelievable. Hey, some good news. The IG's office reportedly looking into the mayor's personal use of the city-owned Pontalba Apartment. That goes in the yeah, you right category. We all know it's not right that the mayor's using this apartment for personal use, living there, staying there a lot of the time, including the mayor. You know, Edwin Edwards, John Ilario, they invented the what can I get away with coupled with, you know, taking it to the limit. We'll hear some comments from the mayor from a press conference earlier today. Right now, we go down to the city council chamber. City Councilman Eugene Green joins us live on the program. How are you, Eugene?
Kaare Johnson, just fine. How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks again for joining us.
Yep, I'm a little bit thrown off because of the schedule. And look, there's a gas leak in City Hall somewhere. So in the abundance of caution, we're evacuated from there. So it took me a little bit of time to get back to you.
Wow.
But, I regret that. So, yeah, between that and budget hearings, well, what a fun day, huh?
Yep. I guess Corey's idea of a streamlined, much smaller new city hall and a council chamber in Central City, not gaining much traction. You got to get out of that. That building's like 65 years old that you guys are in with not too many renovations or upgrades.
Yeah, well, of course, the challenge is the building that would work, that would allow all of the offices to be there, would allow for the a council chambers, which is something that's very important just because it's not just for us. It's to allow enough people to be able to gather, because sometimes those council chambers can be filled with 200 to 300 people. So that's an important part of being able to make available to the public the facility that works best. And it is a challenge downtown. I mean, very honestly, but it is something that's going to be given due consideration. The Department of Property Management talked about it today, and they've got certainly multiple alternatives in place, but each one of them has to have a facility or room or space that's going to be available for persons to attend meetings.
You guys need an auditorium, essentially. You really do.
We need an auditorium, and that's hard to do with an existing building. Even a corporate headquarters doesn't necessarily have that. And honestly, sometimes that build out can be a little bit of a challenge.
No, you need like a major university classroom, 350 seats that you can enter from the top second floor, or you need like the LSU football team, coach and players room where you literally, you need like a 400 seat auditorium where the public can be comfortably seated. Hey, Eugene, while we have you on real quick, Teri Wright, Tampa Chief Customer Experience Officer for Hart, the Tampa RTA, making $200,000 a year. Also, full-time Senior Communications Director for the RTA, making $150 a year. Two questions for you. Which city does Teri Wright work in? And the second one, which is much more important and more serious, Tampa fired her. New Orleans puts her on paid leave. There's the difference between our city and Tampa right there. That sums it up in a nutshell.
Well, Corey, maybe, because at the end of the day, sometimes, if you take action that doesn't allow for due process, for due hearings and things like that, you wind up paying more because you pay what you should have paid, plus you pay penalties and interest and the like. I don't think that it would be long term that you would see that happen, and it also doesn't prevent someone from going back to get money that were paid unjustly, because this could be larger than that. But it's just important for me to give you the political side of it, the legal side, and why the city is in court sometimes, because we don't take the time to do it so that we don't have an easy challenge to our authority. For example, with civil service, you got to give hearings. The RTA has sometimes unions in place, and you have to give the hearing because that's what you signed to do. So I'm not making a distinction, because remember, the city and the RTA are separate. The RTA is its own entity, if you will. It generates revenues from fares and also certainly support from the city, but a lot from the federal government. So they're a little bit different from the city. But I know that on a city level, you have to be sure that you're doing the right thing, because it could get reversed and it can be a little bit more expensive to the taxpayers to have to defend it after the fact.
Well, again, Tampa did it in spite of everything you said, but let's at least agree on this, Eugene, that you guys expedite this. She's not on payroll for months and months and months. It's done quickly. Hey, when we have more time, let's visit again and chat about a bunch of stuff.
I look forward to talking to you. You can call at any time. We're in the midst of budget hearings right now. You can ask about the budget, but there's also some things that we're doing relative to police retention. I think that you'd be interested in police recruitment and other matters. You can call me at any time. Eugene, thank you very much. All right, you're welcome. That's New Orleans City Councilman Eugene Green joining us on the program. Coming right back.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool side. NOLAC.com, your blue spot.
You're listening to The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. What's wrong with you?
I immediately regret this decision.
Every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
Yeah, you right. On radio, 93.9 FM. Oh, so fine. 93.9. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. I like this sneaky, powerful AM that picked us up, 600 AM from Baton Rouge, down I-10, I-12 corridor, North Shore, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, all the way to the panhandle of Florida. Yeah, you right. We're on Cox Channel 4 television all over Louisiana. Spectrum, Charter, Channel 333 television all over Louisiana. Live streaming, CoreyTalks.com, plus the radio and TV stations, all the other places you can check us out, CoreyTalks.com. And we even got picked up, or we picked up, I should say, YouTube, got a YouTube channel a few months ago. You can check us out on YouTube. Click to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. I love getting these guys on the program. Another edition of Hillyer and Henican. Right-leaning Quin Hillyer joins us. Good afternoon, Quin.
Good afternoon, Corey.
Left-leaning Ellis Henican joins us. What's up, Ellis?
Hey, Corey, boy, that's a lot of platforms you're getting now.
The more, the merrier, huh?
I like it.
Yeah, the attitude I try to take, and I'm like 30 years into it now, and I swear I try to think, man, you're just fledgling, like it's year one. You know, kind of, I love what Brian Kelly said to the team yesterday. You know, this was just yesterday. Brian Kelly, the LSU coach who's exceeding all expectations. Right now, you know, you're the hunted. You think you've achieved something. It's like three things. Stay hungry. Second thing, eliminate distractions. Don't listen to the people telling you how great you are, and reinvest in attention to detail. So I just kind of act fledgling like it's day one and keep grinding, boys. Y'all seem to take the same approach about 40 plus years into it. You guys.
I know that's tough for you, Corey, needing that rule number 2 where people constantly tell you how great you are. That can be very distracting, I know.
Well, I meant other distractions. It can be in New Orleans. Lots of food, overeating. What, another glass of wine? You know, I'm not exercising. You know, those distractions too. Not so much the greatness thing. That was Kelly's quote. Yeah, you guys are number 6. You're SEC West champs. You'll be playing Georgia to go to the playoffs. Don't listen how great you are. Pretty amazing job he's doing. Do y'all get much? I know you're not a huge sports guy, Ellis, but you're not immune to it either. Do you catch a little of Kelly and LSU? Is that news permeating the Big Apple?
Well, it's starting to be, as they do so well and they become truly a national competitor. Yeah, people are paying attention. And they like that Notre Dame LSU story, I think.
Yep. Hey, Quin, I know you do love sports and keep up on it. I love when Joe Burrow and the national title, they kind of took over Times Square, the Heisman Trophy Award. That was pretty good stuff for LSU. Lots of good advertising up there in New York City.
That was really good stuff for LSU, which is tough for me to admit as a Tulane fan.
I hear you. Yep, growing up at the old stadium, too. Going back old school. Hey, Ellis, Respect for Marriage Act. What do you think?
No, I mean, I respect marriage. I've been married a long time, man.
You like that tradition?
I think that if you're going to live in the 21st century, you got to be pretty open-minded about the life choices that you make and that other people make. Let me tell you, I am not about to judge anybody else's marriage. If you want to give it a try and you think it's working for you, I don't care whether it's boy, girl, girl, boy, whatever makes you happy. That's where I am.
Yeah, I like the jokes with the straight comedians like, hey, you gay folks, you can have it. Like joking like it's a nightmare. You don't want this marriage thing. Quin, what do you think?
I have not looked into the details of that. It only even popped up in on my radar in headlines late yesterday, so I can't comment on the details.
Ellis, what would you call it in a macro version? Just the reassurance, the assurance that guarantee that gay people can get married, interracial marriage can take place. I guess are those the two big things?
Well, here's the backstory. In the Dobbs decision, Corey, Justice Thomas, not in a majority opinion, but speaking only for himself, but one does wonder who else might hold that opinion, suggested that the legal underpinning of Dobbs might also be applied to some other areas, including perhaps the question of a gay marriage. And so I think there is some desire in Congress to get that stuff clearly in the law in case the court wants to expand that logic from Dobbs into a series of other areas, including gay marriage, contraception, and maybe even some other things if your mind starts to go wild. So is it necessary today? Probably not. Might it be necessary in the future? Well, it does make you wonder.
Quinn?
Again, I haven't read the details of this bill. I see some real controversy over it, but I cannot comment on the details. I can comment on what Clarence Thomas wrote, which was more legal theory than anything else. The chance that any state in the union is going to go back on contraception is insane, and that's not what Clarence Thomas was saying. As a matter of fact, in a previous case, he wrote that he agreed with a dissenting opinion from when the contraception law, the contraception Supreme Court ruling was issued, which was that he thinks that any law against contraception is, quote, an uncommonly silly law. So not even Clarence Thomas, despite what the left wants to say, wants to go back and change the laws to outlaw contraception. That is not what he's saying. Good thing about this Respect for Marriage Act, bipartisan, I think about a dozen Republicans as well, maybe even more, maybe like 15, I forget. So, kind of guaranteeing men and women, men and men, women and women, interracial marriage in America. Hey, Quinn, midterms, blue wave, did you expect it? What happened? What is happening? I guess since it's still kind of going on, did you expect that? I, not to brag, but I have produced, as a matter of fact, emails, chat room messages with my colleagues at the Examiner, tweets going all the way back to January, where I repeatedly told fellow conservatives that this was not going to be a tsunami year, that this was going to be a nail biter year, or as I said on Twitter, I don't see a big red wave. At best, I see only a small red one. This was it even a small one? Well, it was a small one in that it does look like it's going to retake the House for Republicans. Those are almost a given at midterm, though. That the party in power, the president in power. It's almost a given, except it wasn't a given in 1998. It wasn't a given in Trump. 2000. Yep, with Trump. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, so I mean, look. Anybody who says just because this is what's happened in past years, you're right, happen in future years, that's crazy. Anyway, my point is, I expected exactly what happened, especially because, as I said numerous times, the Republicans had chosen a collection of the 5 worst candidates that I've ever seen a party run in any one year in competitive U.S. Senate seats. And when you run bad candidates, you're not likely to win the seats. So no, everybody else seemed surprised that there was no red tsunami. It was exactly what I expected. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a tsunami, and because of maybe the abortion issue, which I even thought fizzled out really, I was expecting at least like a more of
what happened in between what happened and maybe a tsunami, some type of wave. So a little surprised. Ellis, a little surprised, or what you expected?
You know, it's interesting. I was remembering when you and I had this conversation with Quinn a week ago, and both of us ducked it, as I recall. Both of us said, listen, I don't know what's going to happen. These elections, all these people claiming to know exactly what's going to happen, often based on wishful thinking is really what normally happens. And so I do think Quinn is right about that. I mean, we deserve a little credit for not falling for that. Listen, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, in my heart, I did think Republicans would do a little bit better than they did, and I think the reason is what Quinn is saying, is that they had candidates who were too extreme, who were too angry, who were focusing on stuff in the past, who were fighting battles that most Americans didn't care about, and they forgot to talk about the things that Americans did. I think that's probably the main part. But then abortion, the debate did have a little impact. I think particularly it was well framed around the question of freedom, which is not necessarily that you love abortion, but you think individuals ought to make that own decision for themselves. I think that had a lot more potency than a lot of people thought.
We're visiting. No, go ahead. About 20 seconds, Quinn.
Okay. Well, although it did not play a huge role, the backlash against the Dobbs decision did play a little role in that Republicans won among married men, among married women, and among unmarried men, but they lost by 37 points among unmarried women, and abortion clearly played something into that 37-point loss.
It's another among others. Coming right back, more Quinn and Ellis.
Tommy's Lock and Alarms is now hiring service and installation technicians. Great benefits, great pay, take-home vehicle. Apply today. Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
You know, if it's a weekday afternoon in New Orleans, it's got to be Corey Johnson.
You know, moving like a gator down Bourbon Street.
The vibe of the Crescent City, Corey Johnson.
You put Paris in a swamp, and that's New Orleans in a nutshell, baby.
Yikes. That from Saturday Night Live. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Another edition of Hillyer and Henican. Guys, we can kind of talk about what, maybe stifled the blue wave and fade right into Trump, because I think he has something to do with it. Announcing last night he's running for president. Seemed like the same old song and dance, same old Trump from 2016, 18, 20, just sort of a repeat. Guys, it kind of reminded me of that old uptown party. I went to that same old party, the same party all the time. I went to it 20, 30 years ago. Same old uptown party, same thing. Isn't the Trump thing kind of like that? Didn't we just see the same old thing coupled with that helped deflate the blue wave? And I'll even throw this on for a little cherry on top, Ellis. DeSantimonious. It's like Ron DeSantis is part of the MAGA group. He's with you, Trump. You're at these rallies. He's one of the heroes, and you're dogging him, Ellis.
I have to say, though, in the world of Trump nicknames, DeSanctimonious is kind of clever. Actually, I think it made me smile when I first heard it. Listen, I understand, Corey, and you're putting your finger on what I think is the common view right now, that Trump seemed a little lackluster last night, a little low energy, a little tired maybe. But I got to tell you, I'm not ready to count the guy out yet.
I'm not either. Kidding?
He still has a tremendously pull on a big swath of this country. I'm not sure that the MAGA crowds are ready to abandon him, even for Governor Ron.
They're splintered, Ellis. They're splintered. They're splintered because of DeSantis, at least, right?
Well, maybe, but you know what would be a great race for Trump in a Republican primary with a whole bunch of other candidates splintering like they did last time. Remember how many ran last time? And Donald just kind of scooted in with his 25 and 30%. I'm just not ready to call the guy dead yet. I'm sorry.
Hey, Quinn, if any of the candidates I endorsed win, it's because I endorsed them. And if any of the candidates I endorse lose, it's because of them.
Of course, that's Trump's message. Trump never accepts the blame for anything, even though he deserves blame for just about everything.
What a quote!
Look, your comparison to the same old uptown parties with the same old uptown people is mostly true, except that this time, last night's Trump was low energy. Remember, that's what he called Jeb Bush, low energy Jeb. Well, last night was so low energy that even the folks at Red State, which have been in Trump's pocket from the beginning, or at least licking his feet, they had a headline that said that it put them to sleep, and that they called it a snooze fest. This was Trump without any oomph because he knows that he has been embarrassed. He knows he's been outclassed by DeSantis. He knows he's responsible for Republican losses, and not even he could fake it anymore. Whether he can come back, I'm with Ellis that you can never count the guy out because there's a cult following and Republicans tend to screw things up. But right now, he's behind the 8 ball. He knows it. He knows he's not looking good, and you could see it in his body language.
Quinn, what party is more splintered now, Democrat or Republican? They're both splintered. Which one's worse?
Republicans are more splintered right now because Democrats, even though they lost the House,
even with socialist, progressive, woke, sort of middle of the road, liberal, moderate, and then even blue dog Democrat.
Everybody on that side right now is breathing a sigh of relief that there was no red tsunami. And so right now, they don't have their knives out for each other. They might again, but right now the knives are at least put back in their sheaths. Where on the Republican side, I can darn well tell you, because I'm part of this conservative movement here, the knives are out. They're flashing, and some of them have already started hitting targets and cutting sinew.
Ellis, are both parties splintered, and which one's worse?
Quinn is right. At the moment, maybe this won't be forever, but at the moment, Republicans clearly are. I mean, listen, they can't even figure out who their leaders are going to be, right? I mean, it's not at all clear that McCarthy is going to end up being the Speaker of the House. McConnell, though he probably will end up as the boss in the Senate, it's not going to be a straight line or an easy run. Let me continue my case, though, on the Trump ain't dead yet, if you don't mind. DeSantis obviously is the man of the moment, right? He had a huge win in Florida. A lot of the base folks are rallying around him, but don't forget, he's an untested national candidate. We've never seen him in the big leagues. He did beat Charlie Crist, but that's not quite the same as as winning the big job.
But the big red wave in Florida got at least 4 House seats nationally going Republican that were Democrat. You could argue that he swung the House more than Trump did.
I'm conceding that he had a very big win in Florida, but I'm just saying, also on a personal level, I mean, the guy does not have an ounce of charisma. Donald Trump, even if you disagree with him, you got to recognize that he's got some tremendously effective ability to stand in front of a huge audience and persuade people. I've not seen that from DeSantis.
No, but like DeSantis, all he needs to do is read his resume. I don't think a lot of people know his resume, where he went to schools, and for some folks, I guess that's a turnoff. But also his military experience. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, Quinn.
I think Ellis is right that you can't count Trump out, but mainly for the reason that he gave in the previous segment, which is that you get elected, you get nominated in presidential contests, not by majorities, but by pluralities. So if you have 6 really impressive candidates who are not Trump, but they split up the non-Trump vote.
Yep.
Trump gets 30% of the Republicans. They're never going to abandon him. The other 6 people are splitting up 70%. You do the math. Trump's 30% beats all of their 12%. And so even though there's 70% of Republicans against him, he still gets the plurality. And if you win a plurality in every state, you get most of the delegates from that state. And lo and behold, you turn around and you're the nominee. That's how he got in last time. And by being the lightning rod, he is likely to keep that 30% because some people are just going to say, you know what, everybody else, is piling on him and he's my guy, so I'm going to defend him even stronger.
Hey, guys,
he's still got a chance.
Those are good points. I'll tell you this, though. Ellis, DeSantis can get more affable and become more outgoing and say more clever things. He can become that. That can be taught to someone at his level easily. People kind of ignore this about Trump. What is he, 76, 77? It'll be 2 years from now when this thing's going down. What we saw last night, that's the huge moment. I'm announcing for president. And that's the level you saw him at. Trump is aging like everybody else ages. He's not going to be more charismatic next month or in 6 months. He's going to be less charismatic in 6 months. So what we saw yesterday is peak Trump. It doesn't exist from a year, 3 years ago, 5 years ago when he was 72, 73, 74. He's 76, 77. He's getting old too, like everybody else. Time catches up to everybody. I think DeSantis can get more animated, and Trump will only become less animated. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, and the problem is DeSantis is not going to be the only one. You're going to have Mike Pence in there. You're going to have Nikki Haley in there. You're probably going to have Tim Scott of South Carolina in there, who's a very impressive guy. And you might have several others who could all make strong candidates, but they're all going to be pulling out of the exact same non-Trump basket. And they, unless one of them emerges head and shoulder above the others, and DeSantis might, but if the other folks run strong campaigns, they could sort of cancel each other out.
Ellis,
Trump's only hope.
Maybe one of those candidates Quinn mentioned could just change to Democrat, and then you get those votes and some Republican votes and maybe win the election. I don't know who the Democrats are going to put up in 2 years.
Well, Corey, your age point is one of the most perplexing things about politics today, right? We live in this youth culture. Everything is about youth. Clearly, the young voters had a huge impact in the midterms, and they're going to get only bigger and more powerful. And, I see great hope in them. But, here we are. The top of our politics is still filled with a bunch of geezers, and it has been for much of the past decade.
Yep.
And I think, there's probably reasons for it, but it goes against all of our instincts. But damned if it isn't true.
Oh, no, it's a bunch of white old geezers mostly. It doesn't look like a Star Trek episode, that's for sure. Hey, guys, we're already up against it. We didn't get to talk about Ukraine or Biden Z or Artemis or even Scalise. We'll have to do it next time. Always appreciate it, Quinn.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me on, and you all have a good Thanksgiving if we don't get another chance to say it.
Ellis, a pleasure.
Always fun being with you guys. Have a great holiday, everyone.
You can check those guys out online. Quin Hillyer, 1N, Hillyer spelled Hillyer, QuinHillyer.com. And you can check out Ellis at Henican.com, Henican, Henican.com. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Don't move. Coming right back on a wide open Wednesday.
Is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockанdalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Don't forget you can catch the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on television every weekday afternoon, 4 to 5:30 on Cox Channel 4 TV and Spectrum Channel 333 television.
That's right. On radio, on television. We're now on YouTube, too. Click to subscribe our YouTube channel, Corey Johnson Neutral Ground. We just got that going. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Little to no rain, but it is kind of the NOLA winter. Cloudy, cold, windy, humid, damp. Kind of crappy out there. 52 degrees, 60% humidity, feels like 48. Just kind of a nasty day. We could use a little NAD about right now. Paula Norris-Metier joins us from Springfield Wellness Center. Not the greatest weather day. How you doing, Paula?
I'm doing great, Corey. How are you doing?
Doing well. Doing good. Yep, same old stuff. Last week we were discussing just so many different things that DNA. NAD. Did I say DNA? NAD can do. It's funny. It's in our DNA. This NAD. Yeah, it is. It's the fuel for our cells. But boy, almost. It's like. In a year, 5 years, 10 years from now, it's going to be interesting to see the whole new category, plural, multiple things that it has helped folks with that we don't know about yet.
That's right. That's right. And listen, I want to introduce you to Nurse Wonderful, who's here. Joy Harvell is with me, and I'd like you to talk with her or let her tell you what it's like for her to work here, and then I'm going to not hang around so she'll feel a little more comfortable. Is that all right?
Paula's heading to a porch swing, I think, and enjoy the oak trees. All right, I got you. There's Paula Norris-Metier, SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com, SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com. The phone number is 504-291-4000. Joy Harvell joins us. a nurse from Springfield Wellness Center. Hey, Joy, I've talked to a few folks. A good friend of mine, Butch H., was down there for about 4 sessions in a row. He said the staff is incredible, just everybody taking care of you, caring, very tranquil place, lunch served, really good lunch. But he just said the nursing care and just the professionalism of it was, off the charts.
Oh, well, I would agree with him. I have to say that working here is like a dream. I've been here for about 2.5 years. It's just a night and day experience from working in the hospital. It is so tranquil and peaceful. And, at first you feel like when you come and you interview and you almost can't believe it's real or it's true. And I've been here for 2.5 years and it's still the same. It's true. It's good. People are kind. They really want to help people. And I really love it here. So,
Joy, there's doctors, medical science, what's approved in the United States. There might be things approved in other countries that aren't approved here and vice versa. So there is no all-encompassing, this is what works, this is what doesn't, and we're sure about it all. But you're kind of getting both sides of it. You're getting that side of it, and you have some doctors that act like it is definitive, and what we know is what we know, and everything else is voodoo or something. And then there is a lot of voodoo out there. I mean, we could, but this is something that's a little different, that isn't mainstream, that every doctor is jumping on board. But boy, each and every day, more and more doctors get it and understand it. And they realize that there's no negative to it, and it only can be beneficial.
Yes. Yes. And also, even before I started working here, I hadn't ever really heard of NAD. And then it was like this little treasure trove of goodness all the way back here in the woods of Springfield. And I'm a local. I've lived here all my life. And so just learning about it and seeing the difference that it makes in people's lives from day 1 to day 10 of the rotation is really night and day. I mean, some people, honestly, on day 2, it's like a little miracle, walking around and feeling better. Not everybody right away, but definitely by day 10, you can see a big difference in their rejuvenation and their cognitive function. I mean, just their whole everything. Just they're coming back to life.
My dad had Parkinson's, and I just remember the pills and medicine he was on. I almost felt that was as bad as the disease. And this was 10 years ago. If I would have known about Springfield and NAD, I would have my dad in a 55-gallon drum of that stuff 24/7. He would have been living at Springfield Wellness Center.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to try to do everything you can with some family member that has Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, addiction, especially when you're not getting any success elsewhere. I don't get why there isn't even more of a stampede to Springfield Wellness Center. Like I said, it's almost like vitamin C. You can't overdose on it. It's only beneficial, and there's no downside to it.
Right.
But I mean, obviously, a lot more powerful than vitamin C. It's the fuel for our cells. Paula, I mean, I'm sorry, Joy. What else jumps out at you compared to like mainstream nursing and now nursing over at Springfield?
Oh, it's just let me try to encapsulate. I mean, really, like I said, it's like a dream. I don't really know how to explain it unless you come here and experience it. But it's just,
I tell people, I'm like, when you drive up with the oak trees and the big century-old house in the bayou, I'm like, the great thing is I can hype it, and it's impossible to oversell. People are going to show up and it lives up to what I say. That's the beautiful part
absolutely.
about it. That's what's
and
incredible.
I mean, even the patients, daily just go on and on. I mean, from the hospitality to the food to the nursing staff to the medical staff to the administration staff. I mean, they are constantly, everybody's so nice here. I mean, it's a very personal experience.
Yeah, no, y'all get it done right. There's no doubt. Hey, Joy, thank you so much. We're hitting the top of the hour. Paula, always a pleasure. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
If you are a loved one or suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
I feel personally, when I walk around on the grounds, that it's sacred ground. It's healing. Just the environment is healing. Just being here makes one feel like that, I can let go. I can let go of the worry. I can let go of the stress that I've been carrying around for a long time. We don't shame anybody. We don't blame anybody. We don't judge anyone. Just that alone really is the foundation on which everything else that we do is done.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When you think of Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarm. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's called more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Time now for Night Court. It's another edition of Night Court. Harry Anderson, he's the judge, used to live in New Orleans. Post-Katrina, he got fed up from loving New Orleans to hating it and leaving. Good riddance, Harry Anderson. Don't let the door hit you on the rear end. Number 9, please, Drew Brees, La Jolla, California. There it is. Thank you very much, number 9. Corey Johnson back at you. Yeah, you right. 5 o'clock power hour. On a wide open Wednesday edition of the program, a whole lot to cover. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a ton. We started off with Eugene Green, New Orleans City Councilman, talking about this woman, Teri Wright. Now, why would we be talking about a Tampa Transit Authority administrator? Teri Wright, the Tampa RTA, it's called HART, Hillsborough Area Regional Transit. She's the Chief Customer Experience Officer. Full-time gig, assuming she lives in Tampa. It's $200,000 a year, full-time gig. Tampa's Chief Customer Experience Officer with HART, their RTA, their bus service. Problem is, Teri Wright also took a job as Senior Communications Director with the RTA. I guess living in New Orleans, because it's a full-time 40-hour-a-week plus job where she makes $150,000 a year. So she's got a full-time gig in the public transit biz, higher up, an administrator in Tampa, making $200,000 a year. And she's got a full-time gig as an administrator with the RTA in New Orleans, making $150,000 a year. Here's where it gets really interesting. A Tampa newspaper reporter exposes this. Tampa gets wind of it. They verify it. They fire her. New Orleans gets hold of the story. They verify it. They put her on paid leave. Why is New Orleans? I mean, it's about the politicians. It's about city workers first. It's about citizens last, civil service. I mean, if that's what it is, then change civil service. Why in Tampa? She's fired. In New Orleans, paid leave. Now, Eugene Green said, got to do due diligence, don't want a lawsuit, don't have to be worrying about having to pay something, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was like, well, if that's the case, then expedite it quickly, because Tampa's not worried about any of that. And if Tampa doesn't have the civil service laws we have, then we need to get rid of ours. I mean, this just which city is more properly run? Which city is more prosperous? Which city has a growing population? Which city has been moving forward the last 20, 30, 40 years? And which city is stagnant and moving backwards? I mean, is it even close? Are you kidding me? Seriously, are you joking? So Tampa has a RTA person. They find out that that person's working for the RTA in New Orleans, essentially. They're like, this is supposed to be a full-time gig living in Tampa full-time, doing our gig full-time. You didn't like you're cutting grass on the weekend, or you have a, food truck, and Saturday nights and Friday nights you go by a bar and serve food. That's on your own time. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, you work for us in Tampa or us in New Orleans. Which one is it? Can't be both. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Administrative jobs at both, secretly working 2 full-time jobs in 2 different cities. Tampa fires her. New Orleans puts her on paid leave. That sums up the 2 cities entirely right there. Tampa's like, you're screwing us, you're gone. New Orleans is like, she's friends with Brenda, and she's friends with Charlie, and we got to make sure pathetic. Pathetic. Anyway, Eugene Green joined us to discuss that. Hey, good news. The IG's office reportedly looking into the mayor's personal use of the city-owned Pontalba Apartment. We all know it's not right, including the mayor. Fox 8's Lee Zurich, talking the talk, walking the walk, doing great investigative work on this. Some of the best we've seen on this particular topic. And he shows up today at the mayor's press conference and asks the mayor specifically about the Pontalba.
Mayor Cantrelle, you say you're working 24/7, and the records show that you spend a lot of the workday at the Upper Pontalba Apartment with an NOPD officer. The city has crime and infrastructure issues. You've spent nearly 20% of the year out of town or out of the country. Many of those trips with an NOPD officer. Is any of that appropriate?
So, Mr. Zurich, thank you for being here. It kind of freaks me out to see you, quite frankly, because you've been very inappropriate, in my opinion. But relative to your accusations, none of them add up at all. But in regards to my work for the city of New Orleans, it's really unmatched. I can point to results on the ground. The budget hearings that are underway right now.
You're going to stop that at about
speak to the work that my administration and my team has done.
You can stop it now, because it just goes on like that for like 2 minutes. It's absurd. So then Lee tries to ask a follow-up.
No, thank you.
Why don't everybody else gets a follow-up? Why don't I get a follow-up question?
Sir, you're the one who touts having over 680 hours of me filming me at an apartment, sir, that I have the authority to use in my capacity as mayor of the city of New Orleans. So, sir, you've done more than any other reporter in this room that has been, in my opinion, in violation of me as a human being. So with that, sir, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And we know, and thank you very much.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Kind of freaks me out to see you. Filming. I mean, it would be video, and no one's filming you or videoing you. It's your cameras. This is the beauty of it. The mayor got busted by her own cameras. This French Quarter Corporation is a quasi-political BS group. The mayor appoints every member. So it's all mayor appointees. It's all BS nonsense. They have cameras over the Upper Pontalba that they, quote, control. It's city-owned. So the mayor's getting busted by her own cameras, her own flunkies that she appointed to this French Quarter Corporation. It's their cameras. It's their publicly accessible video. So no one's filming me, filming you, or shooting video of you. No one's stalking you. You still don't get it. It's like when you lashed out at, Officer Malvo and Helena Moreno, and someone's stalking me. It's no one's stalking you. That's the beauty of this whole thing. You got busted using your own cameras. Busted by your own cameras, not Lee Zurich and some Fox 8 photographer following you around. Kind of freaks me out to see you. No, that's called integrity. That's called honor and ethics, something you're not familiar with. Lee Zurich does the story, and then he is man or woman enough, has enough, like I said, integrity and honor to show up and be in front of you and ask the questions. But you don't have the honor and integrity to answer them. The opposite. You cut him off, you attack him. No, he's done nothing wrong. It's just a guilty conscience from the mayor. She knows she's not supposed to be using the apartment the way she uses it. It's like the first class upgrades, all these junkets. She got busted. And only because of the media exposing it, only because of the media exposing what is righteous, what should have been transparent to begin with, what we deserve to see, it never would have been exposed. No, so the mayor got busted there, had to come clean, tried to squirm out of it. I'm not a city employee. You don't know what a black woman deals with. My kids, protect myself, all this nonsense, protection, security, blah, blah, blah. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The Pontalba's the same exact thing. She'll pull the same gimmick and she'll be proven wrong. And then she'll have to pay the rent, $3,000 a month. It's going on a year now. She's been in there since last December. Definitely last December. No, the mayor's lashing out because Lee Zurich's right and the mayor's wrong. It's clear. Anyone that doesn't see that has a problem. They need to check the mirror. Got some strange agenda. Don't like to see the obvious on the mayor's side in spite of all this. Hey, New Orleans, be proud. The Artemis rocket blasted off into space early this morning. Yeah, you're right.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
I've worked at a few radio stations in town. Friends with folks that work at a bunch of radio stations in town. I've been in radio for like 30 years. It's funny, literally producing tomorrow's radio talk shows today. There's a guy that does a talk radio show in New Orleans. Doesn't like me or my show, supposedly. Listens to it every day and then talks about the things I talk about. And even pretty much, I mean, this guy tells me he's like fixated with me. It's kind of humorous. Anyway, check out my alter ego on another station down the dial every day. Oh, boy. Buddy D said it best. Corey, it doesn't matter if they're talking good or bad about you, just as long as they're talking about you. And I remember when he told me that, I was like 25, just getting in the business. My first thought was, buddy, why would you want someone talking bad about you? I just thought that's such a strange comment. And then about a week or two later, at age 25, I realized that isn't what he meant at all, Corey. He didn't mean they're going to talk. You're trying to do something bad. You could say great stuff. You could say bad stuff, whatever. You're going to be on some days. You're going to be off some days. You're going to be right some days, wrong some days, whatever. You do an opinion-based talk radio. Some people are going to agree with you. Some people are not. That's what he meant. Some people are going to like you. Boy, I love Buddy D. Some people are going to, people used to come on the show and go, God, Corey, you're a breath of fresh air. I can't stand Buddy D. I never listen to him. Tonight, he said... And right away, I'd be like, wait, I thought you didn't listen. And they'd laugh. They'd confuse with I don't listen him with I don't like it. But you listen and you really do like it. So thank you for listening down the dial, even if you're a talk radio host. I like producing your program. I get it. This guy said, my guy's kind of a lightweight. You get into topics. You got all the details and facts. You do your homework, and you kind of come up with an opinion. And then they'll take your opinion. He'll take your opinion and then use your reasoning and kind of makes him sound like he knows what you know, whatever. I'm like, wow, because there's a lot of people that know a whole lot more than me, Anyway, it's just funny. Talking with this employee of another station every now and then and just laughing about stuff. The radio business. Hey, the 5 o'clock powwow this afternoon brought to you by Young's Dry Cleaning. They've been in the dry cleaning business since 1940. A New Orleans institution. The best dry cleaner. You want to experience them? youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com. Yeah, 5 o'clock hour, 5 o'clock powwow hour this afternoon on a wide open Wednesday brought to you by Young's. Hey, the phone number is 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. I always mention Lamarck Ford, the big store in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Lamarck Crescent City Ford, that's right. Ronnie Lamarck owns the legendary Ford truck dealership on Jefferson Highway. Jefferson Highway, corner Hord, Hord, like Ford, Ford. That wasn't the original location of legendary Crescent City Ford. They were a little bit farther down Jefferson Highway. Where was the original Crescent City Ford location on Jefferson Highway? Not the present location in Elmwood and Harahan. They were in a different spot on Jefferson Highway. Where was that different spot? I would say up until about 15, 20 years ago. 15 or 20 years ago. I think it was a pre-Katrina move, maybe around 2000-ish. Shut down the longtime original facility on Jefferson Highway. It became another business. Torn to the ground, rebuilt as another thriving business. And they moved down the road, literally down Jefferson Highway, to their present location, built brand new from the ground up. And now it's Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood. Where was Lamarck Crescent City Ford's original location? Crescent City Ford, the truck specialist, where was their original location on Jefferson Highway? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. 4 area locations, a 5th location, Mandeville, coming online early next year. They're in Mid-City, New Orleans. They're in Metairie, near North Kenner. They're in Slidell, I-10 at Gauze. They're on in Baton Rouge, I should say, by the Mall of Louisiana. And yes, coming soon, Mandeville. NOLA.woodhousespas.com. NOLA.woodhousespas.com. Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Where was the original location down the road? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Yeah, you right. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Little to no rain out there, but it's the NOLA winter going on right now. It's cold out there. It's like 52, feels like high 40s for sure. It's cloudy. It's cold. It's windy. It's humid. It's just damp outside. It's just kind of nasty. It's cold. And now it's getting dark. 60% humidity, temperatures super low 50s, feels like high 40s right now. Unbelievable. This New Orleans RTA senior communications director earning $150,000 a year, full-time RTA job, working for the Tampa Heart. That's the RTA of Tampa Bay, Florida. Their chief customer experience officer making $200,000 a year. Which city do you live in, Teri Wright? How do you work 2 full-time jobs, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 in 2 different cities? Tampa finds out, exposed by a Tampa newspaper reporter. Tampa fires her. New Orleans, paid leave. That is the difference between our 2 cities right there. A human being working a job in Tampa and working a job in New Orleans simultaneously. It's impossible. Tampa City of fires her. New Orleans City of puts her on paid leave. That sums us up right away. New Orleans is more worried about Teri Wright, and Tampa does not give a crap about Teri Wright because she lied to him and screwed him around. They know firing her is righteous and justified. No 2 ways about it. New Orleans is like, well, you know, Teri Wright, I know her mother. I don't know what we think. It's broken, though. Tampa is more efficient. Their 9 to 5 blows hours away. Florida blows away Louisiana 9 to 5. Anybody can throw a party. Man, we're good at getting drunk. We're good at hunting and fishing. We're good at painting a Mardi Gras float. Whoop-de-doo. Anybody can do that. Others just choose not to do it. We're great at that. I love our culture and our history. I'm not knocking that. I'm a native New Orleanian. I'm 50-something. I've been here my whole life. I love it. Had chances to go elsewhere. Didn't leave. But, boy, we're dysfunctional. Tampa, they fire her for double dipping. New Orleans, paid leave while we investigate. Tampa doesn't need to investigate. Fired. That's the difference in a nutshell between Tampa and New Orleans, Florida and Louisiana. Good news, the Inspector General's office reportedly looking into the mayor's personal use of the city-owned Pontalba Apartment. This is hysterical. Today at a press conference, Lee Zurich shows up because he's honorable and he's got integrity and he's a real journalist, a Peabody Award winner. He does his job. He's not scared. It's no fun. And it's not easy, but it's the courageous, righteous thing to do. He asked the mayor about her staying at the Pontalba today. Listen to
Mayor
this.
Cantrelle, you say you're working 24/7, and the records show that you spend a lot of the workday at the Upper Pontalba Apartment with an NOPD officer. The city has crime and infrastructure issues. You've spent nearly 20% of the year out of town or out of the country. Many of those trips with an NOPD officer. Is any of that appropriate?
So, Mr. Zurich, thank you for being here. It kind of freaks me out to see you, quite frankly, because you've been very inappropriate, in my opinion. But relative to your accusations, none of them add up at all. But in regards to my work for the city of New Orleans, it's really unmatched. I can point to results on the ground. The budget hearings that are underway right now speak to the work that my administration and my team has done and continues to do for the city of New Orleans.
Blah, blah, blah. Could you answer the question? Or are you just going to keep babbling on about nothing that has anything to do with the question? Lee Zurich, because reporters get a follow-up. The mayor wasn't allowing Lee to get a follow-up. Lee wanted to know why he wasn't getting follow-up questions.
Thank you very much.
I get a follow-up.
No, thank you.
Why don't everybody else gets a follow-up? Why don't I get a follow-up question?
Sir, you're the one who touts having over 680 hours of me filming me at an apartment, sir, that I have
load another reel, more film.
The authority to use in my capacity as mayor of the city of New Orleans. So, sir, you've done more than any other reporter in this room that has been, in my opinion, in violation of me as a human being. So with that, sir, thank you very much.
That's a scary.
Thank you very much, sir.
No way.
Thank you.
I promise
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
not in violation of you.
We know, and thank you very much.
Kind of freaks me out to see you. Kind of freaks me out to see you. I know, Mayor, because Lee has integrity. He does the report and then he shows up to see you. That's called integrity. I remember in sports, you know, Buddy D would have something scathing, or Peter Finney or John DeShazer or Dave Lagarde or one of these guys writing a op-ed piece, Brian Alley Walsh, some opinion piece. And then the next day they got the microphone, the tape recorder. They're in front of Mora. They're in front of Ditka. They're in front of Peyton. They're in front of Hazlitt. They're in front of the Saint coach that they were criticizing the next day. That's how you do it. You don't bark and, you know, sit in front of a mic and a camera and not respect it, not understand the responsibility, and not have the you-know-what to show up the next day in front of those folks. I remember seeing that with those folks, and it was the easy, obvious way to do it. I'm not going to run and hide. Why would I run and hide? No, you got to give Lee Zurich credit. It is a lot of softball questions by the media. I don't know what's the problem is want to appease the, you know, with sports, it's appease the players, the team, appease the fans, the journalism, things like third in local sports coverage. Worried about the Saints and LSU. Same thing with news media. Like, well, you want to be a friend of the mayor? You don't want to offend the mayor? You don't want to ask a tough question? Or I don't get it. You know the question, if you're any decent at this job, just marginally decent at this job, the questions are obvious. Man, what do people want to know? What are the questions? What would I want to ask this person? It didn't, do you like pizza or spaghetti and meatballs better for dinner? No, but the Pontalba, and 20% of your time has been on international and national travel. That's insulting. I mean, Junket Cantrelle, living up to the nickname. A fifth of her time as mayor, traveling. What do we get? What did the city get out of that 20% of her time? Did we get a single dollar or a single job? Any of it, a single tourist because of the mayor's travel? No, not at all. It's a joke. No, Lee's right. Lee's asking the questions that any New Orleanian that cares, has any pride, that cares about where their taxpayer money's going, would want asked. And the mayor can't handle it. Yeah, the you-know-what's hitting the fan for the mayor right now. Reportedly, the IG's office looking into the mayor's personal use of the city-owned Pontalba. We know how this is going to go. The media doing their job, exposing these public elected officials that are supposed to be working for us. It was the first-class flight upgrades. You remember the mayor balking at that? It's justified. Then said, I'm not a city employee. Any trying to way possible to weasel out of it. Then finally, having to admit she's wrong, admit she's going to pay back, had to go to Liberty Bank and get a loan. The next question is, who's paying back the monthly loan? Where's that money coming from? Is it a LaToya Cantrelle check? It is a campaign check? Did someone give her money to pay back the loan? Is someone else paying the loan off? The mayor got a loan check for nearly $25,000 in upgrades for those flights. Insane. I can't see the mayor paying back that loan with her personal money because I don't think the mayor thinks it's right. She tries to justify the upgrades even though she's publicly admitted they're wrong. Now, the next thing is going to be the Pontalba, and it's going to be proven that it was personal use, and it's going to be overt and blatant. And it's going to be $3,000 a month, and it's going to be there. She's been there a year now. It's going to be 12 months. It's going to be like $36,000, $40,000 owed, more than the airline upgrades. Mayor's going to have to go get another loan from Liberty and pay that off. Watch, it might take 3 to 6 months because she'll say, you don't know what it's like to walk around in the shoes of a black woman. I'm trying to protect myself, my daughter. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm not an employee. It'll be all those excuses until finally Montano goes, yeah, we got the city attorney to rule on this. And they said, yeah, she shouldn't be using it. The state ethics board said it breaks rules, using something of value for personal use, taking something of value. This is $3,000 a month. And let me tell you, City of New Orleans, French Quarter Corporation, Upper Pontalba building, $3,000 a month. That apartment with a balcony overlooking Jackson Square. If a private individual owned that apartment, it would be a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month apartment. It's one of the nicer apartments, location-wise, balcony over Jackson Square, in the United States of America. I mean, think about it. It's pretty high-end. If you were some rich, wealthy person, I got a condo in New Orleans right on Jackson Square, that seemed pretty fitting for someone rich and wealthy. No, it's not for, now these are both public buildings. You get on a list, that's a whole other thing. The IG needs to investigate that. The state and the city, it's all BS. It's all political. Folks move around up and down the list. The average Joe that's just waiting to move up takes forever. Families stay on it. Families die and another family member takes over instead of turning it in. Go on and on and on. It's politics at its worst, those two Pontalba buildings. But that's a whole other story, a whole other investigation. The good news, the IG's office reportedly looking into the mayor's personal use of the city-owned Pontalba apartment. She'll be found, just wrong on doing that. Wrong on doing that. Hey, New Orleans own Artemis rocket. New Orleans own. Blasted off into space early this morning. A manless flight, computer-driven. It'll get to the moon by Monday. It's just funny. It's got to go 240,000 miles. Around 80 miles or so off the surface, they'll eject the capsule, and the capsule will orbit the moon for a couple of weeks. This test flight, this manless flight, over $4 billion. You see those jets flying out of Bell Chase, a couple of jets at a time, buzzing over the city every now and then. I know this is like a decade ago. It was about $10,000 a flight. So I'm assuming each plane today, $15,000, $20,000 each flight. Those two planes buzz around might be like a $50,000 expense. This test flight is $4 billion. 25 days long, 3.5 weeks. I mean, they're really pushing it to the limit. Splashdown in the Pacific set for December next month. Pretty cool stuff. New Orleans made. The Artemis rocket. You know, I get Michael Hecht on this program every week on a Friday, always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. Latrim's hiring, by the way. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled Laitram, latrim.com. We often talk about New Orleans East. I'm one of the few people that does. You think I'd live out there, that I'm a representative. Been talking about it for decades on this program. Neglected, overlooked, sad. 80,000 folks. A lot of black folks, a lot of Vietnamese folks, some white folks out in New Orleans East, just neglected, forgotten, sad, pathetic. That big white slab right there, you know, by the Michoud exit, New Orleans East. Michael Hecht and I call that the tombstone. And we talked about developing the tombstone, clearing out about maybe 7, 8, 10 acres. The Superdome roof is 10 acres. Clearing out some acres behind the tombstone, elevating it, bringing in dirt, mounding and the like. And on each of these mounds, putting up like a major billboard behind it describing what's in front of it. Could be the Saturn V rocket booster. Could be the Higgins boat. Could be the Chrysler engines that powered the Jeeps during the Korean War. Could be the space shuttle tank. Could be the Artemis rocket. And then you have, you know, a couple of major signs, you know, World War II and the Eisenhower quote, Andrew Higgins won the war. You know, basically it's New Orleans helped win the war. New Orleans helped, you know, mankind, civilization, one of the worst times in humanity's history. New Orleans helped stop that. And then also one of mankind's greatest achievements, putting man on the moon. New Orleans was instrumental in that. Without New Orleans, it doesn't happen. So that needs to be hyped. All those things need to be highlighted. Get Blaine Kern Studios making the mock-ups since the shuttles in California, the external tank somewhere else, the Saturn V rocket booster that was in New Orleans East is now in Mississippi. It's disgusting. No, make the mock-ups and show the world, everybody driving in on I-10 by the tombstone. Instead of the tombstone, it is lit up. It is, you know, shows everybody what New Orleans is about. Yeah, have pride, New Orleans. New Orleans' own Artemis rocket blasting off into space earlier today. We get weeks of following that. And the shots they're going to show of the moon with, you know, 2022 technology, 2030. I mean, it's the greatest and latest stuff that's not even, you know, available for us to use yet. There'll be some great photos, great video, shots of the moon, clarity, things we've never seen before. Should be interesting. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. The Pels beat Memphis. CJ, 14 of his 30 in the third quarter. No Zion. They win by 11. Tonight, back at the Smoothie King Center, a 7 o'clock tip-off, doing it in about an hour and 15 minutes. Be in that number. What are you doing tonight? Go to the Smoothie King Center. The 6-8 Bulls, the 8-6 Pels. Tomorrow night, ESPN nationwide television audience. You got to love this. Tulane doesn't get a break. Tulane relaxes. That's their rear end. I like that Willie Fritz is 60-something because he's experienced 25 years as a head coach. He knows trap games and overlooking games and all that. Not saying it's not possible, but you got an experienced coach that maybe a young coach, an emotional coach, someone that's not so grounded and logical like Fritz might overlook. 6-4 SMU, very capable of coming in and knocking off Tulane. That is their goal. They're 6-4. They want to end up 8-4. They want to go to a better bowl game. They are going to be so ready and focused to knock off nationally ranked Tulane. What's the wave now? 22nd? They're going to be focused to knock off the top 25 ranked wave that's 8-2 on national television. National recruiting, ESPN, Dallas Market, SMU. Now, this is at Yeoman tomorrow night. Be in that number. You won't be disappointed. A great college experience at Yeoman. No, but can't be overlooked. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? What are you waiting for? Lunch, dinner, great afternoon after work place. A bunch of New Orleans characters sitting around talking a bunch of New Orleans nonsense. You'll laugh. You'll have a good time. More is better. More of the good things. Scott Craig, the owner chef, is right. As New Orleans as it gets. Why aren't you at Katie's in Mid-City right now?
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top bench of more exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
If you are a loved one or suffering from Parkinson's disease, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
People started coming to us and asking for help for things other than addiction. We have a Parkinson's patient here. He comes in once a month and gets his little booster because that's what you have to do. In 2 hours after he started, his tremors in his hands stopped. So he said, Paula, your major marketing challenge is that it's too good to be true. But it's true. It truly is true. We can't say that all of these things have a cure, but these things happen and they're real.
Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
Make the call, 504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center, springfieldwellnesscenter.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan. For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
This is what Drew Brees thinks about Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Actually, Brees doesn't think at all about Super Discount Store, but they do have the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law for beer, alcohol, and wine. Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Super Discount Store!
Prepared with experience, depth, knowledge, and a history in the game. Corey Johnson.
Years later, a doctor will tell me that I have an IQ of 48.
I am the smartest man alive!
I like pants. Corey Johnson back at you. A little to no rain out there, but just kind of a crappy day. It's a NOLA winter day. It's cold out there. There's no doubt about it. Don't kid yourself. It's low 50s, like 51, 52. Feels like high 40s, mid to high 40s. It's cloudy, it's cold, it's windy, it's humid, it's damp, dank, just nasty. Crappy day. And now it's getting dark. Man, mommy. Jason, call my mommy and have her pick me up out front. Anyway, kind of a crappy, wide open Wednesday weather day. It's not a drop the coals. Get outside, enjoy it. It's not that day. Bundle up if you're going outside. Might even need a little protective rain gear. The New Orleans RTA and the Tampa Hart Hillsborough Area Regional Transit, they got a problem. Tampa Bay newspaper reporter Teri Wright. She's the Chief Customer Experience Officer for Hart. She makes $200,000 a year, full-time gig, Tampa, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Problem is they found out she is the Senior Communications Director for the RTA here in New Orleans. Full-time gig, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. $150,000 a year. She took both jobs. Unbelievable. Unreal. Now, here's the major difference between functional, moving forward, I say progressive, not in the liberal or conservative way, just, forward-thinking Tampa compared to backwards-ass New Orleans. Forward-thinking Florida compared to backwards-ass Louisiana. Tampa fired Teri Wright. Right when they found out, they fired her. New Orleans put her on paid leave while they investigate. That's the major difference. Like, New Orleans is worried about Teri Wright a little bit. Tampa's like, screw Teri Wright. She lied to us. She's double dipping. We gave her this great gig, $200,000 a year. Wondering why she ain't getting it done. Because she's working in New Orleans half the friggin' time, I guess. Unbelievable. It's not believable. It really isn't. I mean, I think if the NFL schedule, you could probably play for 2 teams. The games and flight travel, you could probably play a whole season playing for 2 teams. Would either team really like that? Yeah, he quarterbacks for the Saints and he quarterbacks for Cleveland. It's mind-blowing. Takes the job with Tampa's Public Transit, Chief Customer Experience Officer, full-time gig, live in Tampa, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, $200,000 plus a year. Then takes the job as Senior Communications Director with the RTA in New Orleans, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, $150,000 plus a year. Tampa finds out, they fire her. New Orleans finds out, paid leave. Great news. Inspector General's office reportedly looking into the mayor's personal use of the city-owned Pontalba apartment. Lee Zurich, talking the talk, walking the walk, goes to the mayor's press conference today and asks the mayor about the Pontalba and other things. Check this out.
Mayor Cantrelle, you say you're working 24/7, and the records show that you spend a lot of the workday at the Pontalba Apartment with an NOPD officer. The city has crime and infrastructure issues. You've spent nearly 20% of the year out of town or out of the country. Many of those trips with an NOPD officer. Is any of that
freaking me out, man?
So, Mr. Zurich, thank you for being here. It kind of freaks me out to see you. Quite frankly, because you've been very inappropriate, in my opinion. But relative to your accusations, none of them add up at all. But in regards to my work for the city of New Orleans, it's really unmatched.
Here comes the blah, blah
I can point to results on the ground.
I'm going to not answer your question,
the budget hearings that are underway right now,
but I'm going to come up with some total
my administration
BS
and my team
positives.
has
you ready
done
for this?
And continues to do for the city of New Orleans relative to public safety, relative to housing, relative to infrastructure, and I can literally go on and on and on. But
and
what
I will
you will
go
not
on
challenge me on are the results of my administration and the priorities that we've set for this city, which in fact the city of New Orleans has been recently
come to the Christmas party. Teacher?
Included top 10 cities, fastest growing cities in the United States of America because we're doing the work. And more importantly, based on the budget that is happening right now, it demonstrates the priorities of my administration and the priorities even touted in the article in terms of where we need to continue to focus so that we become better and stronger than this city has ever been before.
Did you say something?
We're on a great trajectory, and the best is yet to come.
I don't speak Spanish.
So again, Ms. Mayor.
Thank you very much. No, thank you.
No follow-up?
Everybody else gets a follow-up. Why don't I get a follow-up question?
Sir, you're the one who touts having over 680 hours of me filming me at an apartment, sir, that
Action.
I have. One.
We're filming. Action.
The authority to use in my capacity as mayor of the city of New Orleans.
Get ready to load up another mag. I'm running out of film.
Than any other reporter in this room that has been, in my opinion, in violation of me as a human being. So with that, sir, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank we know.
No.
And thank you
No,
very
thank
much.
you. Wow. That's Mayor LaToya, the Destroyer Cantrelle. Lee Zurich talking the talk, walking the walk. Kind of freaks me out to see it. No, I guess so, because it's called integrity. He does the report, and then he shows up to follow up face-to-face in front of you because he's not scared. No, we all know it's not right, including the mayor. Edwin Edwards, John Alario, they kind of invented the what can I get away with, coupled with the taking it to the limit, like right where it's going to be a problem. They're experts at that. Heitmeyer brothers, Alaria, experts. What can I get away with? Forget about civic duty and sacrifice. How can I benefit myself, my friends, my family? Just that mentality. No, the mayor has that entitlement mentality. Going to the Pelicans game and going into that corporate high-end club for the folks that pay 50, 60 grand for courtside seats, taking advantage of that, bringing an entourage in to take advantage of the high-end food and drinks, just petty. Taking advantage of high-end restaurant meals on the city credit card, just petty. The junkets, just petty. And now, any other human being, go rent an apartment. You gotta live somewhere else beside your house. You need an apartment, go rent an apartment like everybody else does. You don't get use of the city-owned Pontalba, and it's not consistent with what other mayors did. You're living there full-time. And that's ridiculous and inappropriate. At the very least, you're using the Pontalba apartment for personal use, and that is totally not acceptable. No, the great thing, the IG's office looking into this and other entities and like the upgraded flights to first class. Hopefully, and that went fine. Justice will be served. Righteousness will prevail. No, and the mayor gets clipped. A little too cold for outdoor dining at Lebanon's Cafe, but you can dine in their dining room. I picked up a to-go order just today for lunch. Got some left in the fridge right now. Pita bread's in the house because I got a lot of that. Tabbouleh, some chicken. Lebanon's Cafe. Yeah, that chicken shawarma is fantastic. And those Middle Eastern sides, authentic. Lebanon's Cafe tonight for dinner. So good. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. It is cold out there. If your heat's not working right, you know where to go. River City's Total Maintenance, Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys. Heating experts that come right now. You're running heat, it's not working right. NOLAAC.com. If your heat is not working right now, they'll get it fixed right now. NOLAAC.com. What's that, Blue Boy? 93.9 FM, New Orleans. See you mañana, Thursday.